All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our Enter Shaolin Friday Q&A. And today, Sifu is joining us from his home because the weather is really not so great in southern New Jersey. It's like 1 minute it's kind of calm. Next minute it's raining cats and dogs and super windy and blowing down tree branches. So we decided to have him join us from his office at home, or I think it's his kitchen, or
The dining room.
living room, or
Dining room here, kitchen right there.
oh, there we go. Sorry, I unmuted myself there, or muted myself. Now I'm unmuted. There we go. I'm your host, CJ. And we're having an interesting day. Lots of weird stuff going on. Are you going to come over and say hi to everyone?
Me?
Yeah, you. We also got Sifu Larry, who's going to be manning. Look, he's got a clean shirt on today, folks. Look at that.
No.
Oh, never mind. Failed attempt. We tried. All right.
Bye.
He's going to man the YouTube chat for all of you on YouTube joining us. So thank you. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to our people on with us currently. We got Caleb, Douglas, Karthik, Melanie, Rick, Robert, and Russell. Welcome. And good morning to you too, Rick. Douglas says, he from Canada. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hi, Rob. How's it going? All right. So before we get started, we do have some questions that already came through via email. So we do have a few of those that we'll take care of while the rest of you are figuring out what you want to ask. And you can talk about anything martial arts related, kung fu related, health and wellness, all that good stuff. Just, make sure that you send your comments over right. If you're online with Zoom, and as people get confused because we got two different platforms going here. But if you're on YouTube, you're on YouTube. Just use the comment section on YouTube. But if you're on Zoom, make sure you use the Q&A spot so that way it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of the chat and we don't miss your questioning because we definitely don't want to do that. Before we get on to the questions too, I just wanted to let you all know we still have availability for our Enter Shaolin Tai Chi seminar. There we go. You can go to entershaolin.com/seminar and get all the details on that and be able to register, find out the location, date, literally everything is there. Today, after the webinar, I'm going to have Sifu's full schedule up. There's already a schedule as far as like time slots, but all the details of the syllabus are going to be put on there today. So look forward to that. And then, go ahead, Sifu.
It's subject to change.
Subject to change?
Come in, and I wasn't told ahead of time. And I said, yeah, you can come in. You guys said, oh, someone can fill it. And, God give me like a day and a half notice, like that way I won't put anybody in at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you didn't change it last time, so I think we'll be pretty good. But if you do change it, let me know so that way I print out the right stuff for everyone when they come. And that's another thing. So when you guys come, you get, some goodie bags, some swag and stuff like that. We take care of you. We are going to have event t-shirts. So for those of you that are already coming, you're going to be able to order those in advance. So that way we can have them ready for you when you come. And that way you can put them on and wear them if you want. So that's going to be really cool. And for those of you that were in the Washington, D.C. event, don't worry, I did not leave you out. We are making a batch of those for you guys as well and gals. So that way you can have those. And you guys are like the first people at a full Enter Shaolin seminar. So like
we take care of our
10 years down the road, you can wear them and be like, yeah, that's right. I was at the first one. And you'll just be the cool person in the room. Pretty neat, right? So
we take care of our people.
So we're going to do that too. And then you always get, the full syllabus will be printed out for you. So for those of you that are coming as a VIP, yours will include your VIP information. Everyone that's in just the regular sessions, they'll have theirs. I'll let you know, when we're going on breaks, all that stuff. So all the details are there. We also give you a notepad and pen, though you're more than welcome to bring your own too. But that way, if you have notes and stuff, you already have all the stuff there for you ready to go. So, and for those that have been wondering about pricing and stuff like that, I will send out as far as like what the food in the restaurant. I did find their menu, so I will send that out later on today too. And maybe I'll put a link on the seminar page for that too. So you can just kind of get an idea of the cost and stuff of the trip and whatnot. We just try to cover all the bases so there's no guessing for you. We are going to cover breakfast for you on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. And we might be doing a lunch if we can get the full amount of people. If we can get everyone, like all the slots that we have filled up, we're going to also cover a lunch too. So that's to be determined. So we'll see. So check it out, sign up. I promise you will have an amazing time and you will learn. Even if you already know Tai Chi, there's been numerous times that Sifu has experienced people that have been doing Tai Chi for 20, 30 years or more. And he's always able to help them grow their skill and take it to the next level. So don't be afraid to come, even if you're new. You don't have to worry. No one is left behind. Everyone will gain something from this.
And understand, we're not here to change your Tai Chi or say it's wrong. We're here to improve the energy behind the Tai Chi. You know, I don't sit there and say any Tai Chi is wrong. It's just the energy behind it is what we're trying to refine. That's what we're doing. We're not moving energy. We're learning how to control energy. And that's a really big difference. And that's why you want to come.
Hold on 1 second, Sifu. Can you talk a little bit more about the webinar? Sifu Lair needs me for a second.
About the webinar? Well, in this webinar, like I said, we're not just going to learn how to move. I'm not teaching how to do dance steps. I'm teaching you how to feel music behind that dance step. So this way, no matter what music is playing, you know how to dance because you can feel music. You're not memorizing steps without learning how to feel the music and just mimicking steps. You learn how to feel steps. Tai Chi is really the same thing. You have to learn how to feel the energy behind it. You're not just moving for the sake of moving your hand and saying, I'm relaxed. That's not enough. That's just a benefit of learning how to relax, to do Tai Chi. It's really the control that is what you're looking for. You're looking to find the control behind the energy, not to move and get relaxation. Like I said, that's just a benefit. Balance is a benefit. You know, harmony, all this stuff is just a benefit of doing Tai Chi. The goal of Tai Chi is to control. It's the one word we always use to describe what NDN system is. If you were to only say, what's the one word that describes what you're supposed to do in your system? For NDN, it's control. That's what you're doing. So you learn how to control, because if you have control, you have balance. If you have control, you have peace. If you have control, you have harmony. You have blah, 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 blah. Control gives you everything. So we're teaching how to control the energy, not how to move energy and get relaxed. If you learn how to control energy, you are relaxed. If you learn how to control energy, you're in control. You're not moving, you're controlling the movement. And so Tai Chi is what we're going to teach you. We're going to teach you different aspects and views that nobody really teaches in Tai Chi, like energy control, what the points are, how to control these points, and show you through these practice what's going to happen through this drill that we use, that you really open your eyes. And like I said, it's a mindset that's going to change, because mindset is very important. You know, they always say mind, body, spirit is one. Well, you're not just moving your body to get the energy. You got to get your mind behind that energy to get that. So we're teaching you to do that.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Sifu. And when you learn to control the energy, you're also learning to control your emotions instead of letting your emotions run wild over you. So that's just like another side benefit of practicing your Tai Chi. You're really learning to control yourself and your energy, and you got the health benefits, and you also learn how to become a better fighter in the event you ever need that. So just, there's so many awesome benefits to Tai Chi. So it's not just, you know, a lot of people in America, they always think like Tai Chi and they think of, you know, the senior citizens doing Tai Chi, and obviously there's great benefits for them to do that too, but Tai Chi is so much more than that, and it's for everyone. So don't be afraid. Even if you're completely new to Tai Chi, been doing it a while, check it out at shaolin.com/seminar. We'd love to see you there and have you be a part of it.
Yeah, there's a combat side to Tai Chi. Anyways, you know, we're not going to focus on this first seminar. We're going to do some stuff, and it's really for pressure testing to see if you're doing your Tai Chi right. It's not so you're going to fight. You know what I mean? Like, it takes years to do that. But you can't control your opponent if you can't control yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is teach you how to control yourself. And the way you going to see whether you have it right or wrong is under pressure test. And so you're going to use a partner, and one of the best things to do is applications. So that way, when they put pressure on you, if you're doing it right, it should feel like it's floating to that move. You shouldn't feel like you're forcing a move. So that's what our goal is. That's what we're going to go and do and make sure that we're going to get that right for you.
Absolutely. So, Seafood Larry may have to leave to go pick up his older daughter. That's what that was about when I had to go for a second there. Apparently, their electricity went out, then a fire alarm went off, and now they're on lockdown. So he's trying to figure out if he's going to need to take care of that or not. So I'm going to be manning both Zoom and YouTube. So that'll be really fun. So let's get to some questions. And
Okay, I can help you with the YouTube. I have the YouTube here.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I have it here. I have it up here too. So we'll cover Corey Rutherford. He says, Sifu, I have heard from many people that Wing Chun is mostly a mix of crane and snake. How has the snake system influenced it?
Wing Chun is a mixture derived from, I would say, the snake and crane, but it has other systems in it as well. You know, all systems are interlinked one way or another with influences. You know, Tai Chi, you can see in single whip, you can see the crane beak. Brush left knee. If you open your hand, you can say it's a palm, but if you slightly curl your finger, it could be a tiger. You know, a tiger looks the same thing as a brush left knee. The only difference is the intensity and the way you move behind it is in terms of being soft versus being hard. Snake is an influence of the Wing Chun is because it uses a baseline with the elbow, and that's very important in the Wing Chun system. You have to have a good base in your arm so you can get the good drive to your wrist, so your energy can be controlled through the wrist. So snake uses the same kind of idea. Okay, so you have to have a good base. You have to good drive. You have to have good base to give you the good drive. The good drive gives you the good wrist control. That good wrist control allows you to control your opponent. It's linear in terms of it's straight out in front of you, so it really uses a direct line of attacks. But there are different styles of snake. That there are curved ones. There are snake that goes curving, stuff like that. But you can see that in like the Bill G too as well. They do more like a linear curve. So it's more like a arc this way as opposed to a hard arc. They're more like veering like a side snake type, an S type of motion rather than an arcing in and out type of motion like this. So Wing Chun is very good because it has a derivative of animals. And it uses just the most linear parts of the animals. But to me, at the same time, it does limit you because if you start to say, it can't be this way, it can't be this way, you start to lock in on just this. And then if you hone in on just this, anybody who trains outside of that and you're not used to feeling that type of training, if you're not familiar with it and the guy attacks you that way and you've never trained for that, how are you going to handle it? Because you never trained to handle it. You know, you say you're going to train to handle it, but you really don't. One of the biggest problems I see a lot of times in Wing Chun schools is they get so caught up in the linear motion. You know, they do a tando and they say, this stops a hook punch. It stops a Wing Chun hook punch. It does not stop a boxer's hook punch or a Muay Thai hook punch or like MMA, which is boxer and then a Muay Thai. The difference why if you ever see Wing Chun people, they do a tandar and it works, and in their school they can stop the hardest punch, and yet they go against a boxer, they get crushed. There's a difference, and if you want to know the difference, I'll make a video of it and I'll show you why Wing Chun fails a hook punch more often on a boxer than it does on a Wing Chun guy. And there's a reason for it. I won't explain it until I make the video for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sifu. So Gajira says, Sifu, I'm sorry, continuing my question from last week about the one move 1,000 times. If someone is a striker, would it be better to spend my time sprawling, defending the takedown, or just spend time increasing the round kick so when they go for the takedown, whatever your kick hits, be the arm, head, or stomach, just gets obliterated with mastering one kick? Hope that makes sense.
Wait. Are you talking about the guy attacking just trying to grapple you or strike you? Because they're two different things. You know?
Let's see here. 1,000 times. He's talking about someone trying to mainly strike, I think. Because so we talked about the round kick last week. I don't know if you remember the question,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about like the applications of that. So he's just wondering, you know, should he, you know, basically, you know, spend his time mastering that one move primarily, so that way when someone's coming at them, whether you know, to try to take them down or strike them, you know, they can you know, basically, you know, knock them out with the round kick.
Round kick has its place. If a guy closes in past a certain distance, a round kick is going to be useless. Okay, so to say I'm going to practice this one move is great as long as you can keep him that distance. If he closes in, you have to have another what do you call it? Sorry, I have to cough. You have to have another skill set to handle that range. Fighting has ranges, long distance, mid range, close range to grappling. So round kick, remember I told you from last time, there's a positive and a negative to everything. Okay. There's always a positive and negative to everything that you do. No matter what technique is, it can always be countered because there's a weak side to it. There's a strong side and there's a weak side. The goal is to make the strongest side your favor and the weakest side to his disadvantage. So when you're talking about a round kick, you got to have that distance. If you're round kicking a guy who bum rushes you, more than likely you're going to get bum rushed, okay? And more than likely you're going to go down because you're on one leg. You got to make sure that you maintain the distance. For example, if he's coming in, you want to take a shuffle step back to a round kick. And you got to maintain the distance. Remember, timing is essential. And if your round kick is meant to kick a guy from a distance, he closes in, your timing's off. It's like trying to swing a baseball after the ball went over the plate and you swung your baseball bat and the baseball went past. Okay, everything has timing. Timing is the critical thing to make a technique, when striking that is, to be powerful or weak. If your timing's off, no matter how good the technique is behind it, it's not gonna work. A round kick is a power kick. And if he's coming at you and you don't have the right timing for that connection of energy behind the technique, then it's gonna go out the window. So just know you have to have the right spacing to create the right kick. Is it good to be master of that? Yes. But also you have to know when to use it properly. So mastering a technique can fail if it's not applied right and the right timing. So you got to get that in conjunction with that. But like I said, I wouldn't just practice just for that, because what if that fails you? You need to understand how to handle it past the round kick range and learn how to do. Our philosophy is we don't defend, we attack or we counterattack. So if a guy's coming in and I go for the attack on whether he bum rushes me, and then I go in for the strike, I need him to hit him. I don't need him to stop him. I need him to strike points. And I'm not striking to knock him away. I'm striking to hit the point. And when I affect the point, the guy goes down because of it. It's like stabbing him in the neck. If I get a stab in the neck, I don't have to move his whole mass. That's enough to drop the guy. If I hit him across the jawline, boom, with a piston shot, that's enough to stop a guy. So remember, I told you, in the end, it comes down to what you give versus what you can take. And if you don't have enough power to hurt the guy, then all these techniques that you do is not going to work. And power is basically, remember, speed and focus, right? But that speed and focus, like I said, has to have the right timing behind it. If that speed and focus is off timing, then you're not going to get the power to what you need. So these are all the criteria that you have to make a successful strike. So if you're practicing to get the round kick right, make sure that you know how to get your timing behind it. You ever see MMA fights? They throw 1,000 punches at each other. A lot of them just kind of graze and they don't hurt because the contact's not right. The timing can be off. They're not getting the body behind it. All these things that makes the hit effective or not. But the ones that you see connect, boom, solid, straight on, and that's when you see the knees wobble. That's when you see the people go down. It's not because it's the hardest punch all the time. It's the right punch in the right moment of time. That makes a big difference. Okay, so if you're going to work on the technique, make sure that you know how to get the right timing behind the technique. It's not just about throwing your legs hard and getting the hit, because you can do that and have the wrong timing. It's like I said, it's the best baseball bat swing possible. If you have the right timing, it's a home run. But if you go too early, you're going to hit it before the ball gets it. If you go too late, it's going to go past the plate, and it's not going to matter how hard that swing is. And if you have a hard swing, you connect it when it's like maybe a little past the plate, it's a foul. It's not going to be right. So you got to get timing behind the technique. Just remember that. That's very, very important. If you're going to do that power kick, get timing behind technique. It's very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like you said, if your timing's off and that person gets in on you, you need to have some other skills besides that roundhouse kick that you've practiced so much. We're not saying it's bad to practice techniques a lot of times, because you should, but you want to practice them right. You want to practice your timing, and you also want to have other tools in your tool bag in the event something does not work for whatever reason, because things do happen, and we want to make sure that you are doing good. Oh, okay. You got a story to share?
It's actually not my story. It's actually Amit's story.
I know, but it's still sharing a story.
Yeah, Amit just texted me today about maybe an hour and a half ago, and he told me about his experience. He just had fought an MMA guy for half an hour. And I can read you the text that he wrote me so you get it for what he said. So I will read it to you, and you will be like, wow, that's awesome. Now, he wrote me, he said, I have some story to tell you. Any questions? I went 30 minutes hands with an MMA guy. Some interesting things happened. And I wrote to him, I said, was it good or bad? I know you don't know grappling or anti-grappling well, so what happened? That's why I wrote. So he goes, I absolutely destroyed him. He couldn't believe it. He said, I gave you everything I could to get in. He maybe touched me once or twice in 30 minutes. I got in all the time. But one thing concerned me was I couldn't lock his wrist. Poor training. No, I'm kidding. It just takes experience, which is what I'll ask you about. And he's talking about my lesson with him tomorrow. He didn't even resist. He's very flexible and thick. He let his arm limp. I couldn't bend his wrist to lock it, whatever reason. I had to pull his arm down all the way to lock, but I should be able to lock it in the same spot. I couldn't do it. I think I was doing the 3-proof wrong, but I will verify with you. I might be doing something else wrong, like position or leverage wise. Now, here's it. I also use anti-grappling on him, steered him all over the place, no fighting. He said, I cannot take you down because you control my arms very well, which is what we're always about, controlling the point. Also, funny thing, I asked him to give me his best 1-inch punch. It was nothing. I barely moved. Then I shot him with a 1-inch punch, and he went back 6 feet. He was like, you took a strong stance, not a neutral stance. I said, no. Watch again. I did it again, and same result. He was impressed. I could tell, but he didn't admit it. He grabbed me every way he could, both hands down to the side, heavy down pressure. Nothing worked. I turned him around, and it turned into a strike, slow and controlled. Didn't even use speed. It was all caps awesome. So thank you, Sifu. What you were teaching me is absolutely mind-blowing.
Well, congratulations, Amit, and get working on those locks, brother. Something sounds like it was definitely off. So you're going to work out with him on locks tomorrow?
If he wants. I'm going to see how he does it. We'll focus on that. We'll focus on sparring more. But he said here, he showed me a side kick, which he said no one can stop. To the mid-air, I said, I can stop that. And you'll hurt if you put my my elbow in. Okay, because the text is all mixed up. So he said, I can stop that, and you'll get hurt if I put my elbow into it. He kicked me once.
Sifa?
Yeah.
Listen, guys, if for whatever reason everything goes dead, we're
apologize.
In a really heavy storm right now.
Yeah, I just heard it was crazy.
And electricity may actually go out.
So just a warning, if everything goes poof, that's why. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
He said he kicked me once. I didn't time it well. Second time, I hit him hard. He got the point. So that was it. Like I said, these texts are not in order, so I'm trying to figure out where it is.
Right.
So he said the second time, he didn't time the first one right, so it failed. He said the second time, I hit him hard, and he got the point. So the right timing matters. Timing is a very important, crucial part of execution and technique. Remember, technique must have timing behind it. They go hand in hand. It's like water, wet, fire, hot. They go hand in hand. When you have fire, you never have heat. Okay, so they go hand in hand. You got to have that.
Absolutely. So Gojira said, excellent info. Thanks for the answer. You guys understood my question perfectly and had a great answer. Also, that's why you guys are before anyone else. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Karthik set in, is there a good reference book covering all possible kicks, punches from martial arts and applications of it?
I don't know of any book, but I know that there's going to be a site that's going to have all that, and it's Shaolin.com.
/join. But Karthik, you're already a member, so you just need to log in.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a book. I don't read types of martial arts books, so I can't tell. I'm not an expert in book references. I don't read those types of books. I only read the Bible, really. So
yeah, Bruce Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do actually breaks down a lot of different punches and kick. All the basic punches and kicks are the same in every single martial art. What I'm saying is, I think it's the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. He actually breaks down all the different punches and kicks that he used, which is the common kicks and punches that everybody uses, because it's really like all the same.
And I think we recommended that in one of our recent posts. So I will go double check on that in a moment for you, Karthik. And if so, if I'm right, I'll send out the link to everyone with some other books that we recommend. So I will double check in a moment. But great question. Let's see here. What else do we have? So David said, thank you for your emails. As a lifelong martial artist, 15 years to 55 years at the moment, constantly studying, maximizing efficiency of striking power over time and energy. It is refreshing to see your Sifu sharing insight into traditional body dynamics and kinetic chains. Probably what is missed by most is the natural transitions and overlaps between traditional karate, Japanese jiu-jitsu, Wing Chun, and Chao Gar. You said, is everything okay?
You froze for like 3 seconds.
Okay.
I thought power went. I'm like, oh.
Okay. So, okay. I don't know where I got cut off at. So I'll just start over from the beginning of the sentence. Probably what is missed by most is the natural transitions and overlaps between traditional karate, Japanese, jiu-jitsu, Wing Chun, and Chao Gar. A true yin and yang when you start to understand the connection to the earth and the relationship to energy. Keep up the good work in helping those seeking to understand how to improve, even in MMA. Kind regards, David. Well, thank you, David. That was awesome. We love when you guys write into us and just like give us your thoughts and stuff. It's so good. It's what keeps us going, because there's like anything, that you do in life, there's ups and there's downs and stuff like that. So we always love, hearing your guys' positive results and all the good stuff that's going on and what you enjoy about the training. So Philip Everson said, December 13th is when I got into the hospital. January 11th is when I got out to do out of the hospital. And he wants to know if you have any exercises that can help him stretch and feel better from being in the hospital. So I guess he was, in bed rest, really stiff, and wants to know what he should be doing to help loosen back up.
Okay. One of the easiest things, the first things that you should do, just one tip is when you get up in the morning, slap yourself across the body, across the legs, the limbs. That actually stimulates your nerves, which causes blood to flow and it'll wake you up quickly. In terms of stretching, there's all kinds of stretches. I mean, anything that you do, really, if you just put your body, like just stretch out a little bit here, just keep the constant tension about 30 seconds, rest. When you warm up after like maybe 2-3 minutes, you can start to stretch and then contract the muscles, about maybe 20%. Just so you can make the muscles pull, and that'll allow the muscles to stretch actually more when you relax. So that's a good way to do it. The most important thing when stretching is being consistent. I mean, do it every day. You'll get more limber that way. But first thing to warm up is just tap yourself across the shoulders, arms like this, face, back of the head. All these will stimulate your nerves, and again, blood will rush to that. It'll wake you up. Wakes up the muscle, stimulates the nerves, and allows you to actually become awake to the body, if you get what I mean. The body starts to flow with the blood. It'll get you more awake that way because your heart's going to pump more to get more blood coming out. So it's going to go to your brain more. You'll just wake up from that. That's why you ever see in the movies when a guy's like dying and they just like pass out, like hey, they slap him across the face. That's a stimulation. Causes for you to wake up, and so just slap your body across the legs, the calf, the foot, the hands, the arms, everywhere. Just slap across your butt, your back. Just, get away a system that you want to do. Like maybe you want to work on the head like this, head, face, shoulders here, arms here, forearms, then chest, ribs, legs, thighs, and you work your way to whatever you want. Just make sure that you hit yourself, tap yourself. Don't beat yourself, okay? There's a difference between, tapping and slapping to wake you up and then hitting and hurting yourself. And you're like, oh, that hurt. I gave you a little too much. So you don't want to do that. You just want enough to stimulate and wake the body up.
Awesome. And you know what I'm going to recommend? Qigong. That will also
he asked for stretching. He didn't ask for...
but you do some stretching in some of the Qigong movements, the up and the down and the different...
Yeah, like the number 9 is a good stretching for the legs and the back. So,
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stretching. Plus, it's going to help get you that energy and your chi flowing again. And any stagnant chi is going to get broken up. So that is my recommendation. The Qigong 10 basic exercises, which you can find in the
very, very good to get the blood to flow and wake you up for your body. Yeah, it's absolutely good for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that would be awesome. So yeah, do what Sifu was talking about and combine it with that. We also in our core training have some stretches in there too. If you did that, you're going to be feeling amazing before you know it. So happy healing. And Muhammad wanted to know how to get fingers of strength. Yeah, people ask that question a lot lately. I noticed that people just really want to know, how do you strengthen those fingers?
one of the things I do to strengthen the fingers, that got my fingers really, really strong, is get a racquetball. And take the racquetball, put it in the palm of your hands, take your fingers, don't close a grip. Turn your fingers in from the mid joint and take your fingers and squish that ball down and in like this. And when you get good, you can do individuals like this, and you can practice this way. You can do doubles, you can do triples, you can do 4, you can do just a thumb and a finger, you can do thumb in the middle. So get the racquetball, just squeeze it. If you're driving, you know, you can drive with one hand, that's fine. You can do it like maybe 25 times the side, then 25 times that side. If you're watching TV, you can just sit there and do it. It's a very good, very good. It's one of the things I did to get my grip very, very strong. There's also stick exercise with poles. We have videos on that. But one thing I said, just to describe and tell you something you can do with just, you know, without having to grab a stick and show you, is get a racquetball, squeeze your fingers, tip from the middle and the joint here, and just draw it in, and then that'll help you. There are stick exercises that we do that really develops the wrist with the fingers. And that's on the site. So you need to go to the site to see that.
Awesome. Yes. And we, if you look at some of our other webinars, I think last Friday we covered that question too. And I think you shared some other different tips. So Mohammed, if you go back to last Friday's webinar, you will also find some additional tips to what Sifu just shared now. So let's see. Rick says, is there any tension band exercises in the core module? I don't think we have any currently.
Tension band?
Yeah.
No, but there are. You can just take any tension band, put it to the wall. For example, tie it so it stays on the wall. Make sure it's not going to be flying off the wall. You can practice like your form, like a punching, making sure you move out to where it's comfortable. And then you can just practice your punches like this, and that'll help strengthen the tendons and the muscles to come forward to do that. You can get multiple, and I actually want to, this is one of the things we want to create. But you can put 2 bands, one on each side, and do 2 arms. You can put one in your stomach. You put one up in your upper body and your stomach. And you can walk out as far as you can. It's going to pull you, but you got to stand the horse stance to hold it, and then do your punching, your Som Tao, for example, and do that. And that's a very good way of developing a good, strong core, forward intent, without throwing the body. That's very important. We got to teach you how to drive energy by using the body, not by throwing the body. And there's a difference in that.
Awesome. So actually, you know what? That's actually a really, good idea. I know we've had a lot of people asking about the band exercises and stuff like that. So I'm going to go on Amazon today and see if I could find a good set, and we will start filming for that and adding that into the core training, because it's a simple thing. They're easy to travel with. So they're great for exercising. So we will work on getting more of that added into there, so you can see some examples of what Sifu is talking about as well. Let's see here. Yes, Douglas. I think I was about to cover yours, and actually I am. So give me a moment. All right. Mainly Douglas, as you were the last question, and that's why I was asking if anyone else had any questions, because I wanted to make sure after I asked your question, we had more questions. So that's why I did that. Now you know. All right. So Douglas sent over. He says, Sifu, could you talk a little bit on the utility of the palm strike? How and where is it best employed? Thank you. Loving everything about the inner Shaolin experience. And my light just went out for some reason. So while you answer that question, I'm going to go figure that out.
Your light just went out? Oh, I see light here. Well, the answer to that is no. I don't want to talk about the palm. It's a secret thing. It's a family. No, I'm kidding. Palm strikes are basically very powerful. Okay, a lot of people think that fist is very powerful, but actually palm can be extremely, extremely deadly. Because one thing, your energy point comes from here. It's what we call the dantian. I mean dantian, not dantian. Dantian's here in your stomach. Dantian, and this is where we get our energy out. It's also the point in which your wrist can pivot from and generate a lot of power. Remember, we talk about wrist control. It's the most important thing in the Nodec nerve system. It's our wrist. A lot of people would say power comes from the shoulders. Power comes from the shoulders, but it's derived into the wrist in the end. Power people hit with the fist, but they put the shoulder behind the fist. And it's actually, you should drive your shoulders to the elbow to the wrist, and then the wrist turns to the point of contact. And for us, that's our principle. So for us, the wrist is the most important thing. So since the palm is right there, your palm can generate a lot of power. With the palm strike, there are 3 points in the palm. You got the thumb side, the center, and then you got your pinky. The palm is very powerful because of that closeness to the wrist and the jerking motion, so it can generate a lot. Plus, the palm can be very safe compared to the fist, because if I'm punching someone in the face by the teeth, I don't want bare knuckles. I can break their teeth, but it can be stuck in my knuckles. So we don't want that. Palm strike, you can strike and you're less likely to get hurt by that, because the bones here are just bones. There's no meat. So when you're hitting bone, you're hitting hard surface, his teeth can cut into that. This, there has some cushion in it. So even if you hit them by the teeth, you're safe. You're not going to really cut your hand. You'll break their teeth off their mouth, but you're not going to have it stuck embedded into your palm because of the cushion. Plus, like I said, because it's not a hard point like the bone, it won't absorb in here, and you have the ability to rotate and move the difference much better than you can your knuckles. Palm strikes are very powerful. It's good for close range. Like a fist has, more range, and a palm strike lacks it by a few inches. So at a closer range, your palm is more efficient than your fist can be. Now, some people say, no, they're using externally, using force. When it comes to power to do damage, to break body down at close range, palm strike can be very, very lethal, very efficient. As a matter of fact, I demonstrate all the time palm striking technique, and I show them like, yeah, imagine if I hit you this way. And they're like, oh, that would knock me out. I demonstrate the power of it to their palm, and they're like, yeah, there's no way I would be able to take that. And the palm is very, very powerful. Most of the power comes from here. Like I said, we're going to break down the palm strike. It in itself is nothing. It's just like a knife in itself is nothing, right? The knife can't wield its power until you put it in your hands and do it. Well, the palm can't generate any power until the wrist behind it supports it. And remember, the wrist drives the energy into the palm. Your palm is the tangent point that connects to a person. This is the driving point. But remember, the wrist can't get its power unless it gets from the elbow. The elbow can't get its power unless it gets from the shoulder. The shoulder can't get the power unless you get it from the root or the lean. The leaning commits you. We don't lean, we root. So, and it also throws you off balance to throw in the shoulder. So that palm is just a connection tool for you, for your wrist. Your wrist has multiple ways of striking, right? You can do the back of the hand, you can do the back side of the wrist. There's 6 points in your palm, or in your wrist, I should say. Your palm, from the thumb, center, pinky, then from the back of the hand, center, pinky, thumb, center, pinky. So, and it's your tool. It allows you to go out, use your finger strikes. It allows you to turn your wrist to control, articulate energy, allows you to continue motion. So your wrist is the key to getting any type of strike. Your palm is just one tool to get that strike. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Sifu. So I figured out what it was. So I have a light that's in front of me, Sifu, because there's not much light.
I saw the light flicker.
Yeah. So the outlet just died on it. So I have a power strip that apparently is like on its last leg, because out of 9 slots, only 2 more are working. So that's what happened. So real quick, Rick just said that he's got bands that he got from Costco. And so he needs to get another one because he's only got 2. And he's got a mat, and he has a big ball like you use for grappling and some of the core training. So you are all set, Rick. You're like good to go. You got lots of good stuff. So you're going to be doing good. Douglas said, thank you, Sifu. Great explanation about the palm strike. And Corey Rutherford says, Sifu, I've been having stomach problems for years. Which Qigong exercises help with these problems?
I want to address that because I saw the question. First, hey, Rick, just to let you know.
Corey.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I thought you were, sorry.
To let you know, I got your critique thing done today, and we'll be putting it up in tonight's update for you. Corey. So I've been diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, and I've had stomach problems since I was about 14 years old. There's a bunch of things that can help you with your stomach problems. But first up, with the Qigong and Tai Chi, it's not a specific exercise that helps you. A lot of stomach problems are associated with anxiety and stress.
And food.
But
intolerances.
Yes. But as far as what Qigong exercises to do, all of them. Because the idea is you want to lower the stress and lower your anxiety, which in turn helps your stomach. And there's tons of food issues that people have. Like you could be lactose intolerant and not even know it. Like
lactose intolerant.
You won't correct me anymore when we're at it.
I don't know. Say something else wrong. I'm just messing with you.
Supposedly.
We can take this outside.
Let's go.
All right.
We'll bring the camera out.
We'll bring the camera out. So you guys want to watch?
One thing that you can do, Corey, and I Seafood Larry said everything. You know, we want to do the Qigong because it helps you.
Mhm.
One of the things that can help you too is once you do all your Qigong, okay, put your hands along your stomach, feel the heat.
Mhm.
You feel a lot of heat. You should put it along your stomach. You'll feel the heat come into your stomach that way. It helps. Okay, and just place it along, move it here, move it left, like just put it along your stomach here, and just let your palm press just lightly. You should feel the heat once you do the qigong, and just move it a little bit here and there, and it really helps. It really helps you a lot to do that, you know. But if you go through a lot of stomach problems, I would definitely go see a doctor too. You could have something bleeding inside. You could have, you know, you don't know. You need to get diagnosed to understand that. And then from there,
well, I would also say that doesn't always work because I know like Seafood Larry went through years and years and years and years of being misdiagnosed. So it's not always as simple as that, but that you could definitely check that out. But here's what I would tell you, because I've had tons of stomach issues. And even now, like they'll start to correct and then they go backwards, and it's like this weird, crazy puzzle. Like I've done elimination diets and figured out some parts of the puzzle, and then my body was fine, but then like other things built up. And I found out a couple things. One, I have low acid in my stomach, and I also have problems with too much histamine. So high histamine foods and eating them on a regular basis are no bueno for me, which is why I don't do well eating meat. So I figured out a long time ago, my body doesn't really like meat, but I couldn't really understand why that was. And also finding that out also made me understand that there are certain vegetables my body doesn't do well with, and different things from the plant world that it doesn't do well with because they are high histamine foods. So do a little research on those couple things and see if you have the symptoms of those things. And if so, you can do a simple elimination diet of those things to see if that alleviates your problems or not. But I know also like they were saying, high stress, high anxiety, all those things mess with your emotional brain, which is in your stomach. So
yeah, the body is very complex. So, you know, yes, one doctor may give you a wrong diagnosis, another may give you right. That's why, you know, you want to go eliminate process. I'm not saying a doctor will give you the absolute answer, but sometimes there's a good doctor that says, I know what the problem is. So that's why I say go see a doctor. Now, if it doesn't help, then there are other people that can do it, like holistic medicine. You know, some people could swear by it and say, listen, you know, I went to doctors and it didn't help, but I went to a holistic doctor and it improved. I mean, I got so much better. I felt so much better. So I'm not saying go to your standard, you know, medical doctor all the time, but go see someone who is professional and deals with this all the time. And he may be able to help you. He may not. It's going to depend on the problem. You know, it can be misdiagnosed. But wipe out all these eliminations. If you get stomach problems a lot, you know, you need to see someone who is a specialist. And not just one. You might see 2, 3. A holistic medicine.
Right. If you've done everything and like nothing's working, then you need to go see a doctor.
And there's one more
really bad going
There's
on.
one more bigger, more important ingredient to all of this, and it's something that's never addressed by most people who have stomach problems. So I'm just going to use a pizza as an example.
I like pizza.
You can have an intolerance and still eat the pizza. And while you're eating the pizza, you can feel great. And then like maybe an hour later, you feel bloated and then you get the runs and so forth and so on. Well, a lot of people have a lot of stomach issues that they never address because they're not willing to actually do what it takes. It's really it's a lot more simple to solve stomach problems than people think it is. If you eat something and then after you eat it, like 45 minutes to an hour later, you're not feeling good. The problem is the food. You got to stop eating it. You can't go, oh, well, maybe if I take a medication, I'm going to feel better. If I do that. No, you can't eat that food. It's really that simple. And people hate that answer. But yeah, I can't eat certain foods. I don't eat them because it hurts. And so that's the way life is.
And that you have to look at it with today's food. There's a lot of chemicals, a lot of pesticides on it, and not necessarily could the food be hurting you. It could be the pesticides behind that. Mm-hmm. So you need to see professionals to see what your body's allergic to. I have this thing that actually you put a cotton swab in your mouth. It takes your DNA. They take it to the lab. They actually break down your DNA to every whatever the chromosome is, and they actually create a pill to balance out what you're weak at. And it's supposed to help you stay in balance because, you know, our body's not perfect. We're not born with perfection. That's why some people are allergic to this. Some people are allergic to that. Some people aren't allergic at all.
And all the environmental things that Steve talk about don't help with that. Like it agitates the body. And
some body is very sensitive to certain things. And so it breaks down very quickly. Some people are very strong. I can God's blessing. I can eat anything. Any country I've been to, different country, eat anything. I never have problems with my stomach. Maybe it's because I eat meat a lot. It made my stomach, break down. It has a lot of acid. So I don't know. But
I would say that didn't work for me because I grew up in a house that ate a lot of meat, and that I literally almost killed me. Like becoming a vegetarian, and now I'm a vegan, but becoming a vegetarian saved my life when I was in middle school. So.
Yeah. Everybody's body's chemistry is different. Like I went trying to eat vegetables for a day and fruit, and I was like, I feel so weak. I can't take it. I have no energy. I need the protein to get the energy because I train so hard. I need the protein to get my muscles repaired. And I know there's protein.
I was gonna say we aren't gonna even talk about that because the protein in fruits and vegetables break down a lot easier. It's because your body's not used to eating them.
Yeah, I know it's not used to it.
So it's hard to break it down at first.
But for me, that's just the way it is.
Come on, Sifu. Come on.
I was gonna say I could show a lot.
Just because you don't like vegetables.
It's because he doesn't like vegetables. He just doesn't like them. He must have a gene that's anti-veggies or something.
I eat fruit. I eat a lot of fruit, but that's not enough for me. I just.
Yeah, you need more than that. Definitely, the greens and stuff is where you can get all the good protein and stuff. But you don't like the greens, so that's
I can't do it.
but you know what? Corey, if you have already tried a lot of stuff that we're talking about, definitely go to a doctor. But if you haven't, and maybe you have specific symptoms or things that you've noticed and you just want to chat or whatever, email me at support@innershaolin.com because between Sifu, Larry, and I, we've dealt with different spectrums of stomach issues, and we could tell you, what we've done, what we tried out, how we've been able to piece things. Literally, I've spent a good portion of my existence, I would say, since I was in 7th grade till now I'm 36, trying to figure out what is going on with my body and stuff. And there's different levels of the healing. It's all right, boom, I took this stuff out that was bothering me and my body was doing good for a while. And then all of a sudden it wasn't because there was something else that was a lesser evil that I was still eating that was affecting me, and that built up. So definitely look into the high histamine thing because there's a lot of people that have tons of issues with their stomachs and can't figure it out to save their lives, and have done everything and nothing works. And that's what it was. It's just this really weird thing. It only affects 2% of the population. It's kind of crazy. So I would look there and just maybe do an elimination diet in general to see if it's something. What's interesting, Sifu? I've met people that are gluten had to be gluten-free here in America because our wheat is so hybridized, but they've gone over to places like Italy where it's not genetically modified and they can have wheat there. So the chemicals and just the genetically modified stuff, all this stuff, it's just breaking things down, and some bodies can handle it better than others.
Stay away from high fructose corn syrup. Your body, brain cannot break that down. It doesn't know what to do with it. It stores it as fat, and it's very bad for you. So stay away.
Yes, and any of those fake sugars, sweet and low, any of that stuff, aspartame, those things are poison for your body. Do not consume. Fake dyes, artificial flavorings, stay away.
I tell my wife all the time, if she wants something sweet, I'll just stick my finger in it for her.
Oh, that's so nice.
But the thing that you want to look up that's very, very good that my wife does a lot, and it really helped her. It's called nutrition response testing. It's made by this guy who I think is holistic, but they actually put stuff on your hands and then they test your muscle reflex with that on. Your body will absorb it. And depending if you have enough or you don't have enough, your body's going to respond a certain way, whether you're weak or you feel strong. They can tell exactly what your body needs and what has too much of. And they'll say, stay away from this. It's what's breaking your body down. That's why you can't do this. You need more of this to help your body break down this food that you eat because it doesn't have enough of this. So they are very good at what they do with that. So it's called
I've heard of that before.
Response testing. That's what you want to look up: nutrition response testing, and look it up. See if you're from Canada, I guess you said, right? We're from Canada before, so see if there's anybody there that does that, and just have a consultation with them. I mean, they can.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you Google it, you should be able to find people in your area and stuff like that, most likely. I've heard of it before, so it's a pretty common thing, I think, these days. I know there's also different tests you can take where you send in, a swab from your mouth and they do like an allergy panel testing. I've heard some people that have great success with those and some that don't. So definitely do your research, because some of these tests are kind of hit and miss for people. And some of them are extremely expensive as well, like $400 to $1,000. So, a lot of the stuff you can figure out on your own just by doing elimination diets and then slowly introducing foods that you've been eating back in like that were common into your diet and go, ooh, my stomach is really hurting after I ate, that piece of cheese or whatever the case may be, and just, do that yourself too. But I've heard of what the nutrition response testing. I haven't personally done it, but it's cool to hear that someone that we know has had success with it. So that's cool. I'll check into that as well. Russell says, CJ, we also eat a non-GMO, gluten-free ancient grain wheat flour called incorn. Oh, I've heard of that before. Yes, I actually recommend the more ancient grains because they have not been hybridized. And a lot of times people that do not tend to have to be gluten-free can even handle the different ancient grains that do have gluten in them because it's not all broken down and like Frankensteined out. So I do recommend that. The ancient grains are amazing. They're really good for the body. Kamut is a good one. Let's see if I can think of another one. Kamut, teff is another good one. So those are just a couple that I personally consume on a semi-regular basis. I personally find that I do better with very limited grains, period. So Tempa, I don't know, or not Tempa, Corey, I don't know if your diet is really heavy in grains, but that could be also a problem as well, because you could be having a lot of phytic acid and a lot of different things going on in your body, and it could just be wreaking havoc on it, especially if they're not processed properly. Like if you're not sprouting them and you're not taking care of them and that whole process to break down some of the stuff that's in there, that could be why. Like if you just go to the store and you're just buying normal breads and pastas and things like that, you're probably not eating from a good source of carbohydrates and grains, and that could be why. And I know depending on where you live, if I can't remember if you're in Canada or if you're in America, but I know here in America, people eat tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of grains, and it causes tons and tons and tons of issues. So that's another thing, fermenting and soaking, but possibly not fermenting. If you find out that you're a high histamine issue or a tyramine issue, then fermenting is not your friend. So that even isn't foolproof, but soaking your grains, I highly recommend regardless. That is good for you. Tempa said, hi, on energy and martial arts, please comment on free versus limited energy as in techniques.
I don't know what you mean by limited. The only thing I can interpret what you mean by limited is how much you can get out of it. When we talk about energy in combat, the goal is to convert energy so you can return it to your opponent, couple that with yours. So you should be able to take his force, use it against him with yours backing up his. That's really our goal. That's what you want to do to create energy control. Free, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, limitations is only set by the person, okay? But you have freedom, but it's bound in principles, okay? So you can do whatever you want, but it has to be guided along the principles. It's kind of like picking any number that equals 1,000. Pick any number, but it has to equal 1,000. So it's the same thing with energy. You can pick what you want to pick, but it has to follow along these principles. If you don't follow along the principles, then it's not going to work. That's like saying, if I have to go 1,000, I want 500 plus 800. That's not going to equal 1,000. I mean, you're free to pick, but that's not within the principle of mathematics. Same thing with energy. You must stay along principles, okay? For example, three-proof. That's how we can derive energy. Energy, the nature of energy is that once you go the path of least resistance. So if you have a structural integrity that creates a weak point, instead of driving it equally to the from the three-proof to the wrist, and let's say you lift your shoulders to do it. Now, under pressure, if the guy's got a lot of pressure, it's going to go back to your shoulders. So we can't do that. Freedom of energy, freedom of movement is up to you, but it has to follow along principles, okay? A lot of people say these techniques. I just got a comment from somebody about my snake technique. And it's like, he said, your elbow's not strong down. This is like, no, listen, this is what people who only know how to do a specific way does. When you are skilled, you are not bound by the technique. You are actually in control because of the principles. So I always tell people, for example, you don't have to be like, I'll just pick Wing Chun, for example. You don't have to have your arm 6 inches from the body, 45 degrees from the elbow. You don't have to be specific, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. You have to find the control, because if you are exactly like that and the guy's not punching exactly to meet that the way it's supposed to meet, his arm arcs a little, he throws his shoulders a little bit, it's going to wind up going through you anyways. You're going to get punched in the face, okay? It's people who get stuck on technique, or people who say, like, walking on tightrope, you got to keep your head above your hips, which is above your legs. That's the only way. Because if you tilt your head to the left, you're going to fall to the left. You tilt to the right, you're going to fall to the right. Well, that's not true, because if I tilt my head to the left, I can create a counterforce with my hip or my hand to create the equal counterbalance and maintain balance still. Okay? It's harder to do, but when you're good, you're fine. You can do that. So people who talk about it has to be this, how that, they only know one way. They don't know how to control energy. They only know how to control energy this position, this point. They don't know how to control energy, period. They can only do it if it's set within a specific parameter. So they're not really know how to control energy. They can only do it one way. For example, they only know 500 plus 500 equals 1,000. They don't go 600 plus 400 or 300 plus 700. Like, no, 500, 500, because it's evenly balanced. If you do 700, 300, you can put too much on one side. Like, no, 700, 300 equals 1,000. It's fine. Okay. People get caught up and it has to be this way. 500, no, it can't be anything else. It can't be, because they're so locked up in seeing that if it's not that, it's wrong. And it's not wrong. Okay. It's about understanding the balance behind that point. Our whole objective is controlling the point. And controlling the point requires two ends. Your base end and then your control end, which is your torquing in your wrist. Those are the two most important things to how to control energy. So that's why it's three-proof. Shoulder drives the elbow, which gives you your base. Elbow drives the wrist, which gives you your forward intent. And then the wrist is your balance and control. You have to have that in order to control somebody. If you don't, you're going to fail. And then you come to the Tai Chi seminar, I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm going to practice that through something. And you're going to see absolutely, it's like, whoa, I never saw it this way. And then your eyes will open, and then your actual skill will grow too. So come to the webinar, seminar, and we're going to show you all these things I'm talking about. But people get so stuck and they say, it has to be this. The only reason why they say that has to be because that's the only way they know. Anything outside of that, it won't work. And so therefore, it's no good. It's like, no. Remember what I always say, technique don't fail you. You fail technique. And so when you do the technique and it doesn't work, you say, oh, it's no good technique. It's not, because you don't know how to do the technique right. Because you should be able to do it in any position. Your arm does not have to be down. Your arm can be like this. Your arm can be out. Your arm can be in. Your shoulder can even raise. You know, why then do we always say shoulder has to be down or elbow has to be? Because it's the most optimal way to perform. Okay, that's the reason why we have these rules, because it's the most optimal way for you to perform. But when you're good, you don't need that, because having your arm out versus down to an expert is like shooting a guy like Deadshot. There's not a target he can't hit. You know, he's that good. He can hit anything. You've seen the movie in Suicide Squad. He bounced it off a metal plate, which hit off of this, which hit all this, which hits his target. He's that good. He knows how to do it. It doesn't bother him. Same thing. When you're that good, you don't need the arm to be so strong down. You can have it out because you know how to control the energy from that point. A tightrope walker can lean to the left with his body, but he knows how to create a counterforce with his right. It don't matter to him because he knows how to create control and balance in that motion. And that's the same as anything. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sifu. So let's see here. Karthik says, Sifu and team, can you post a pic? We normally focus I'm going to rephrase that.
You're doing me now.
Sifu and team, can you post a pic on what we normally focus as energy points for China targets in the body? For example, some meridian points are important for Tai Chi and Qigong. I remember you mentioned this in our early webinar. It would be helpful to have a picture of it as a reference.
We'll have to look up and find meridian point, a picture of that, and then we have to show that and do that if we're going to do that. If we're gonna do that, we have so much stuff we have to do. That's one thing we just have to add.
I'm gonna put this on our list. So we need point.
People are asking to do animal videos. I was like, great. Now I have to do that. Not saying I'm complaining, but I'm just saying it's more stuff we have to do. That's
and the weapons. Don't forget the weapons.
Yeah, weapons and all that
stuff. Someone asking about that yesterday.
Plus, we have to reshoot. Plus, we're going to also to reshoot the Tai Chi, the Song Tao. We're also going to do that for the Udemy for the DVD video. So we have to do a lot of reshoot. Plus, we're going to go back and redo all the old videos because of our technology that we have.
Yeah.
So we have a lot we have to do. I mean, it's a lot.
We're working on it. We're working on it as best as we can to make improvements. And another thing that we're doing.
There's only 3 of us.
Behind the scenes is I'm starting some of the new courses that we're coming out with are going to be on a new platform that I think is going to be a lot more cool. And as we're going to test it out and whatnot. And then if that works out as we plan, it's going to have a little more gamification. I think it's going to enable people to engage with each other a little bit more as well. And I think it's just gonna be really fun and neat, and just to be able to track your progress more with what courses you've done and completed and stuff like that. So we're gonna be working on implementing that behind the scenes, or I should say I am, because I'm gonna be the only one working on it. Once we do that and that works out with some of the new things that we're coming out with, then I will have to work on migrating everything over, which is a scary thought that I don't want to think about right now. So there's a lot of things that we're doing behind the scenes to make improvements on the site, just make it just easier to navigate, fun to be on, easier to learn and access and find all the great content that you want to do. So I will add that on to our never-ending list of improvements, but I think I can probably take care of that a little bit sooner than later. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Any questions, anybody?
Okay. All right. So let me see real quick what we need to do, because we're going to probably wrap this up in a moment here. I don't see any other questions there. Karthik says, take your time, Sifu. If we just add it as to-do items, that's enough for now. Thank you. Rick says, thanks to Russ. Okay. For the wheat flour called incorn, the ancient grain. Yeah. And definitely, Rick, check out Tef. Tef is also really awesome. And what was the other one? Kamut, Kamut. Those are some good ancient grains. And usually you can find these in just the regular store too, from Bob's Red Mill. So you can check that out. Let's see here. I'm going to send over the link for the Tao of Jeet Kune Do that I just sent over to everyone. Let me see here. This is in YouTube, and I'm going to send it over in Zoom for you guys. This is a post that we did a while back ago. Well, not too long ago, where we did Sifu's top 5 movies that he likes for martial arts, and Sifu Larry did his top 5 kung fu books. So check those out. If you do buy from us through Amazon, we will most likely get a small commission. So thank you in advance, because every little bit helps and we really, really appreciate it. Since there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And like we were talking about earlier, if you want to check out the seminar, which you should, because if you love martial arts, then you're going to really enjoy this, especially if you are into Tai Chi or just getting started with Tai Chi. Go to entershaolin.com/seminar and check it out. And if you like what you see and you've been enjoying all this great content that we put on YouTube and you're not a member yet, go to entershaolin.com/join. You will not be disappointed, because trust me, it is 10 times more amazing than the free stuff that we put out. So check that out. And everyone, whether you're a current member or not, if you want to get some exclusive content that you won't find anywhere else, plus get some bonus stuff that we offer, check out our patreon.com/entershaolin. And be able to become one of our patrons. And that's just another way to help us. Every little bit helps us grow. So we try to do little different fun things to enable you guys to get little, cool secret, trading on the side here and there. So you can start as little as $5 or higher. And there's different things that we'll give you if you are able to donate and help us grow a little bit more faster. So thank you. Like these videos, share them, If you haven't already and you're on YouTube, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. If you have any questions between now and then, email us at support@aaronstrelin.com and we'll take care of you. Peace and bye for now.
Bye.